So, but first of all, obeisances to who's here. We can give obeisances to others as they arrive in. And I'm here, it's 5 in the morning, and our festivities ended somewhere probably around 1:45 or 2:00.
Oh, Maharaj. Well, you could have sent us a message saying, let's
Hey,
keep it.
no. I'm up every day, pretty early in the morning. But I have to admit, this morning I used the alarm clock.
I imagine.
So actually we're happy. I'm up, I'm bathed, I'm tilaked. I didn't chant my Gayatri, I admit it, because usually my alarm clock is set for 3:25. But this morning set it for 4:10, and still I had to put it on the snooze a couple of times before I could get out. So here we are. We're here on the day after Sri Janmastami here in Thailand. I'm at the Chiang Mai temple, and behind me, we're in maybe familiar background from previous time. It is the guest room here in Chiang Mai temple. And we just, to let you know, we had like a very beautiful program yesterday here in Chiang Mai, and part of it was televised, your Infinity Media.
Infinity.
INFINITI media on YouTube, Instagram. I don't know exactly where to go. Sometimes it's one place, sometimes it's another place. But YouTube, I think you can always find these things. So it is there. But as always, a very very clear and factual and like on exact, if you like, accurate presentation by Goswami Maharaj. He always thinks and speaks. Oh, do I do anything with this mosquito? Oh yeah, I tolerate it. Okay, mosquito, I'm tolerating you. And we had a good number of devotees, and really at midnight. We've also seen in the West before the devotees come for the earlier part of the evening program, but not everybody makes it through to midnight. But I can say one thing here, that yesterday it was the Queen's birthday, which was a bit of a coincidence. It's the Queen's birthday, so it's a national holiday. And I was thinking, well, people are celebrating, they're giving honor to the Queen, and previously the kings and queens, they're considered as the representatives of God and the gods. So this way, some kind of theism in some, not necessarily, I don't know how much theism is in Thailand. There is, they just don't know it. They're very Buddhist, but when you talk to the monks and when you see the paintings in the Thai Buddhist temples, they have so much from the Vedas and from the Ramayana, from Mahabharata. Many things are depicted like directly there on the walls of the temples, and some of the art is very nice. And when Gurudev came to Thailand, he would go temple to temple, and Paramananda Prabhu would be with him going temple to temple. And Gurudev wanted, let's go this place, and he was always looking at the designs of the temples, and the monks would come to meet him, etc. But lots of the, even the simple temples in the village, very nicely designed. We can certainly learn from them. And we had some guests, means that they're coming on an organized tour, quite middle upper class, middle class persons, you can say, who came last, not Kartik Parikrama. Yes, where are we? August. Right, last Kartik Parikrama. They came, and I had some duty to help look after them in Govardhan. And they came at the time of actually, they were there on Govardhan Puja Day too. And one of the ladies, who's very presentable, she said to me, I understand the worship, the appreciation, the Bhagavad Gita, many things I understand. But why are all the temples so dirty? And she was sort of disappointed in that sense. She'd come to India for the first time on pilgrimage. And if you've come from Thailand and actually from China, where they have Buddhist temples, and you are accustomed to going to a temple with such like fine ornamentation, etc., but clean. And that one point, I really had to agree with her and say, yes, isn't it a shame that they're not kept nice and clean? Because it's not just a matter of decoration, it's a matter of just simply keeping clean. But many things in India are, they're not difficult to harmonize, but we have to give help to the pilgrims to harmonize the contradictions. Is that a polite way of putting it?
To overlook?
Yes, you have to put some filters on your glasses so that you don't notice the modern day like plastic and garbage and this, that, and the other that just seems to accumulate everywhere. Anyway, here we are in Thailand, and we had the Janmashtami festival last night, and no doubt, and some of you have been joining in around the world, we've already joined into Australia, Govinda Dham. We were there having Janmashtami before we had just Janmashtami here, as we're with you. And really a good number of people there, a good number of devotees, and one or two guests also came. But they had like the devotee gathering, which was really nice. And they in Govinda Dham have got good mridanga players, good singers. Manasa Krishna Prabhu is there, who has sung the whole almost of the yellow songbook, not the later green songbook, but at that time, the yellow songbook, which on the web, on scsmat.com, if you go to the PDF books, then you can see there are different editions of the songbook. But the 7th edition is the one generally, the 7th edition has a yellow cover. So Manasa Krishna sung most of that, and maybe Praneshri, you know where that's available, but it is available online somewhere.
Yes, sure. We can post it here.
Yeah. So that's also helpful for getting the tune of the songs. Though, as Manasa said, he said, I wasn't sure about this tune, but this tune fits, so I put it there. So, I mean, we can't say that it's only this tune on some of them. And in the mat also, we have to say different devotees didn't always sing the same song, the same tune, more or less, you can say, but there are varieties of tunes that we can sing some of the kirtans to.
Maharaj, I misunderstood. What I have is the 7th edition.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But there is an audio version of Manasa Krishna singing that.
Okay, let me check. Should be.
But not, is it on scsmat.com?
No, this is the PDF.
Yeah, that's PDF.
Uh-huh.
But if you go to the audio books, what does it say? scsmat.com, go to the left side where it says books and ebooks. Then when you click that, then after that, you have a choice of PDF books, EPUB books, spoken books.
Audio spoken books.
So is it there, in there? If not,
it's not here so far. I'm scrolling down. It's not in that section.
Okay, with my mourning face, I will.
Wait, real quick, are we looking for the recordings by Manasa Krishna Prabhu?
Yes, we are.
I see next to the kirtan with the peacock feather on the cover, it does actually have a link to, SoundCloud, the Gaudiya Gitanjali 8th edition.
Oh, great.
Perfect. There you are. Thank you so much.
Okay, because 8th edition has more songs in it, more kirtans in. So that's good. I thought it was the 7th edition. So I'm very happy to hear it's the 8th edition. Good.
But the link is connecting me to the iTunes store.
I posted the SoundCloud one.
Perfect. Great. Perfect.
All right. Oh, very helpful. So please copy that from the left side. And just make sure the link works. The link is working? Somebody with a good internet can check. Anyhow, my point was we joined Australia before we had our program. And then, of course, India had their program. And then around the world, the devotees are celebrating. And sometimes then we can say that it's only devotees who are celebrating some festival around the world, like the Vyasa Puja festivals, etc. But on Janmashtami and Ram Navami, on these days, it's not only the Hare Krishna devotees, it is all the Hindu people all over the world. They are celebrating Krishna Janmashtami. Oh, Nandamoy Devidas has arrived with us. Welcome. Govinda Govinda, Dandavat, and Deva Priya Devirasi of San Jose. And is it Serbia? Those countries, they've all developed from Yugoslavia, and I'm not sure which part it is, but Deva Priya Devirasi.
Yeah, I'm from Serbia, Maharaj.
The Serbia part, I know everyone has their differences of countries. I don't want to get it wrong.
But you know very well all of that, so.
Yeah. And by the way, I went through Yugoslavia like many years ago, and it was a very beautiful place. Driving those days when we are teenagers and very young and foolish before we came to Krishna consciousness, but Krishna protected us, and here we are. So we're still on planet Earth, so let's try to use our time properly. Okay, so welcome, and Chintamani Devidasi arrived with us too. Yes, Chintamani, welcome. Govinda, Govinda, Govinda. Guru Goranga, Guru Goranga. So, we are in good company today with the devotees, and good company today around the whole world. And how many people in India? 1.3 billion, maybe. Last count, I'm not sure who's still counting them. But today it's a holiday in India, national holiday, and everybody knows about Krishna. Whether they're Muslim or Christian or Hindu, in India, you can't avoid Krishna Janmashtami and hearing the name Krishna and saying the name Krishna. It happens. So the name of Krishna, I've heard something somewhere, somebody told me, it was very wonderful. So the name of Krishna is being spoken and said by so many people, and Krishna is being worshipped by so many people in India and around the world. And we know that all over the world, there's a sizable Indian, expat population. And so, around the world, joining the Hare Krishna devotees. And this means the devotees who are worshipping Mahaprabhu, worshipping Krishna in the line of Mahaprabhu, Nityananda, Rupa Goswami. We can say in general, we're the Hare Krishnas. And Krishna consciousness. But Krishna consciousness, we know it is coming in its full-fledged form via Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu's, how he's given the via Rupa Goswami. So we are worshippers of Krishna and of Mahaprabhu. And on this Krishna Janmashtami, also we're reminding ourselves of this, that we know of the 10 principal avatars, Dashavata Stotram is there that we sing by Jayadev Goswami. One of 2 songs we sing by Jayadev Goswami, because Jayadev Goswami's songs are usually like for the liberated souls, we can say. They're very high subject matters. But the Dashavata Stotram is a song that is sung on such days of the Dasavatar's appearance. But we can see there that each avatar has got its function, the Lord comes in different avatars for a specific purpose. And the first one, the fish avatar, Matsya, he's actually protecting the Vedas, coming to rescue the Vedas during the inundation. And then the tortoise avatar, the churning rod, the churning pivot for churning the ocean, from which everyone is searching for the nectar of immortality. Anyway, step by step, each avatar has got its his function. But what is the build-up? The culmination is coming to Krishna Leela, Radha Krishna Leela, but Goloka and Gokula Vrindavan pastimes. And then with that pastime, then coming to distribute those pastimes. So it's actually over the course of time, we're getting the Vedas being protected, we're getting the search for the nectar of immortality, we're getting then the boar incarnation, saving the earth from the depths of the dirt and all those things down there by the power of his smelling capacity. I mean, not him smelling, but sniffing and smelling capacity. He finds the earth. And then step by step, and then coming through Buddha in the more recent time, Buddha resetting ahimsa and the actual basic, not just ABC, but just the A of the ABC, of not to do violence to others. And then in another way, Shankaracharya, Shiva coming by the order of Vishnu in order to re-establish the Vedas, but not giving the full conception, more or less giving what Buddha gave, but establishing the Vedas. Then Mahaprabhu coming with all of this background. So with the Vedas established and with the principles basically established, he's putting Krishna in the center in a very grand way. And, and before Mahaprabhu, Krishna then came. And then you see Krishna has come and he's showing everybody what is the highest plane. He's showing everybody, and with the Vedas still kind of being worshipped and intact, Krishna, then he's showing everybody with the brahmanas, the sacrificial brahmanas and so many things, giving an example of what it is in the spiritual world that's taking place. And then, Buddha, Shankaracharya, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu coming as the distributor of Krishna consciousness. So, repeatedly we're saying what a fortunate time we're living in. And really it is a fortunate time, not only in the course of which century and this, that and the other, but not is which millennium and which period of thousands of years we're living in. It's a very fortunate time that we've come after the Krishna Leela, and then essentially step by step the Mahaprabhu Leela of distributing that. So we are trying to be Krishna conscious of Krishna. So he's come with his own abode, and he's come to show the wonder of the higher plane. But to understand all this, Mahaprabhu himself has come to present Krishna consciousness to all kinds of persons, including, as we mentioned, about Buddhists, etc., including the Buddhists in Chaitanya Charitamrita we see, including the Buddhists and the Jains and the various Mayavad sections, the Shankarite section, and including all of the Vaiṣṇava sections, the Ramanuja Sampradaya, the Vishnu Swami Sampradaya, the different 4 Sampradayas, principal Sampradayas of Vaishnavism. Then Mahaprabhu has shown what is valid in there, but what is missing in each one, and has brought, giving honor to each of those Sampradayas. He's brought, if you like, the best of each into one. He's brought 2 items from each of those Sampradayas, and he's showing us what is the full-fledged conception, almost like how Srimad Bhagavatam came to be. Many great scholars, many great yogis, they'd come to give advice to Parikshit Maharaj. But Parikshit Maharaj saying, yes, you're all giving me good advice according to your opinions, and you're the heads of each of these sampradayas, each of these schools of thought, if you like, or schools of research after the best thing to do with life, after eternal life, bliss, all these things, Sat Chit Ananda, consciousness, or Sat, eternality, Chit, consciousness, awareness, and Ananda, joy. You're all searching for those things and you're all expert, but please come together and give your unanimous opinion. And then, as we know, Shukadev Goswami, he came along and everybody, they agreed that they said, oh, he can give the conclusion. He has what we are searching for. So and then from this came Srimad Bhagavatam. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's meeting so many experts in the field of each of their different Vaiṣṇava conceptions, as well as their different other conceptions, like the Buddhists and the Shankarites, the Mayavadis, etc. And Mahaprabhu, he is showing the conclusion of everything. It is not an ism, not a partial thing, but he's showing by his own life, but by also his very, he's Krishna himself. What can I say about, acute, logic, knowledge of the Vedas, etc. Even knowledge of the Quran, Chaitanya Charitamrita. He mentions that Mahaprabhu, quoting from the Quran, is explaining to the Muslim, the Kashi of Navadip and other places, showing how your Quran says this, but why you are not following. So this way, Mahaprabhu very, ableist Krishna himself, not only Krishna, any Krishna himself, but Krishna of Vrindavan himself, coming to present the conclusion of all attempts at spiritual life, all prospect in spiritual life, the potential of spiritual life. And spiritual life means life. Spiritual simply means spiritual. Doesn't mean taking LSD and going off into some big trip and saying, oh, this is spiritual. Cool, dude. And all these things that we hear. Hare Krishna. At some of these festivals we've been subjected to in our trying to be preaching pastimes. Many things. And actually, when someone's so stoned as we go to some of those places, I don't know that anything goes in when you talk to them. But, what can we say? We're making an attempt and something may go in. So we try. Anyhow, so this really, Janmashtami, it is a worldwide festival in honor of Krishna consciousness. But again, the conception of Krishna consciousness, we will come to our Guru Varga rather than just to the Hindu who lives next door and who's got a very nice altar and does puja every morning and every evening, but doesn't have connection with Mahaprabhu Nityananda or with the Sampradaya of Mahaprabhu Nityananda. So the general worship of Krishna, worldwide on a grand scale, and maybe, yes, probably the biggest day in the year for general Krishna consciousness, in the sense of knowing, everybody in India knows that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but everybody also in India, the Hindus, they have this idea, oh, if we worship Krishna and we get his favor, we may lose everything. He may make us poor, but we are wanting to pray to become rich, very, very motivated. We come to the temple to ask God for something, but when we come to the Krishna temple, then Krishna is asking us for something. Oh, okay. So, as Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur pointed out at the time of the Radhakund and Shyamakund, the parikrama of Govardhan Hill, when he was taking devotees on parikrama in Mathura Mandal, and then some glorification was given for one of the royalty who was doing Sastanga Dandavat, a parikrama around Radha Kund. And one of the devotees said to Saraswati Thakur, like very innocently, he said, oh, how much devotion this person has. He was the king of Bharatpur, which is a region of India, northern India. And he said, oh, how much devotion he and his family have, he and his wife have. They're doing Dandavat Parikrama full obeisances, parikrama, around Radha Kund. And Saraswati Thakur said, yes, but they are worshipping Radha Kund, worshipping Krishna with a different motive than us. They are coming to get something from the Lord, whereas we are coming to give ourselves to the Lord. So we also must keep our own Krishna consciousness in the line of Mahaprabhu and our spiritual masters. And this again comes down to, where is Krishna really? He's in the heart of the devotees. And heart of which devotees? Heart of those pure devotees who have got the connection from the heart, from the heart, from the heart. And this is our family, the Rupa Nuga Sampradaya, giving us this. So in general, then Krishna is showing his Leela to the world. Mahaprabhu is distributing that Leela in its proper context and proper way. But in general, the members of the world, if you like, those who do worship Krishna, and you can say over 1 billion people, I think so, over 1 billion people do worship Krishna and will be offering flowers, incense, food, etc. for Krishna, and making a lot of noise if you want a good Hindu festival, making a lot of noise. And in our mat, Chaitanya Saraswat mat at midnight, you get a lot of noise often. Those fire, they say firecrackers, but fire bombs practically. I mean, very loud. The loudest single sound I've heard in my life, even though, we fired guns and things when we were teenagers, but not at animals, at targets. Teenage boys tend to do things like this. Anyway, as teenagers, we have fired guns, but louder than anything I'd heard before was actually at Chaitanya Saraswat mat at midnight on Janmastami. And right in front of the Nat Mandir, I was walking by, and just nearby, really, like a bomb exploded. And I was conscious I was deaf, for, I don't know, at least, some minutes or something, for some minutes, and then gradually again you hear something, but very loud. So they do like to make a lot of noise for a celebration, just to make sure that the Lord knows we're having a good time down here. So festivals come in various ways, and our festivals come in glorification of the Lord through kirtan, and through kirtan in the form of the discourses, the readings, etc. And so I think we did mention last time that the advice of Gurudev is to read from first of all, Chaitanya Charitamrita, the first chapters of Chaitanya Charitamrita, leading up to, but not including the chapter where Gauranga Sundar appears. So interestingly, the Chaitanya Charitamrita chapters, and of course the 10th canto chapters, and as given to us safely by Srila Prabhupada, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the Krishna books, the 10th canto, those chapters leading up to, including and after Krishna's appearance. I mean, this is all our very nourishing matter. And Srila Prabhupada has presented the Krishna books, and he presented them before he made all the other cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, because he knows that devotees are going to want to read about Krishna's pastimes, and that the 10th canto is the place where the various pastimes are described. The pastimes we're singing every day. Yashomati Nandana, Raja Baro Nagara, Gokula Ranjana Kana, Gopi Paranadana, etc. And in these songs, what are these names? They're the names of Krishna in his various pastimes. So we are expected to know something about what are the pastimes that take place in Vrindavan. So Srila Prabhupada presented that 10th canto in the form of prose, so that he is giving the protection to the devotees, the understanding to the devotees, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. God comes as Krishna, a naughty boy in Vrindavan. But first of all, he's God. Understand that we're not talking about regular children of this world. And as he grows up, not just children, but comes to be a youth, then a man, and then the king of Dwarka, etc., with 1,000 and how many wives? He had a lot. 1,108. I don't think it was 1,000. Was it 1,108? I think there was another number, like 100 and something else. Anyway, I mean, Krishna throughout all his pastime, Srila Prabhupada at every step is stressing Krishna is God, not like man, etc., etc. So this is safe for us to read, and safest for us to read with devotees. Because again, we can misunderstand things, and we need to have the devotees with us to help keep our consciousness in the right plane of Krishna consciousness. So, Gora Gora, noise and fireworks, lol, India, oh my gosh, how scary. Actually, I didn't mention it to the devotees here last night. We had a very, very actually sweet program, but really, I can say that the Janmastami in Navadip, I'm not sure we can describe it as a sweet program. Evening, year by year that we went through this evening, it was rather, I would say, a rowdy program. But not scary, but rowdy. And if you are in the midst of such a thing, what? 116,000 wives. Oh, okay. Give or take a few. All right. I'm just looking in the chat box if you're wondering what I'm saying. But in India, I can say one thing. If you do find yourself at midnight at a temple in India, and maybe one of our temples in India, and you see like many people and some fireworks, and if you see, oh, so many people, but here, oh, there's no one here. There's like it's empty. Oh, I'll walk across where it's empty. Be careful, because that's exactly what I did. And why was it empty? Because the local people, they lit the fuse on the bomb, so they're all standing back. So while I thought, oh, so this is a clear way to walk through. Oh, I can get through to the other side by walking through here. Then I like walk past this lit fused bomb, practically. So if you find yourself in a big gathering of people and find suddenly there's an empty space, then be careful of that empty space. There could be something lurking there. And on another, should I mention this? On another experience note in India, I was on the bus once from our Dum Dum Park temple. I got on the bus, and the public bus, to go into the town, to go to the metro, I think. We take a public bus. And public buses in India, especially Calcutta, are usually very full. So this bus was very full, but there was an empty space. So naturally think, oh, empty space, go to the empty. Oh, then I looked, and why was the space empty? A young child with his mother had vomited, but not just vomited, there was a worm, like a thick worm about this long, there on the floor. Oh my goodness, look at that. Which goes to, they get worms. Worms come. Hare Krishna. Anyway, we'll come back to Krishna consciousness. Though we can put this into the Adhyatmic, Adhibautic, Adidevic section, suffering from other living entities. The worms come in the body. Hare Krishna. So you are all about to participate. Oh, look, no Australians. Oh, we saw Rupanuga Prabhu before. He's up early, but the other Australians and our New Zealand side, I think they're resting in because they've been up partying last night. So here they are. Here we are on our side of the world. But Rupanuga Prabhu did show up a little earlier. He's an active person, by the way. Active person, and he's come to Krishna consciousness in his senior years in life, after seeing everything. So that is also very encouraging. You know, somebody who really has seen, you know, the world and the world of, you know, people doing all kinds of meditation and, you know, spiritual activities. Very consciously, he came to Krishna consciousness. And Krishna's appearance is certainly helping us to be conscious of Krishna. Here's me talking away about these things, but it is the basis, back to basics, it is the basis of our life, is Krishna Leela. So maybe we're allowed to say something on this Janmastami, Nandotsav time. And here is Nandotsav. Oh, we'll be having a feast before you. While you are sleeping, having fasted, we'll be feasting. Sorry to mention this, but we had our cooking team in the kitchen yesterday, prepping, as they say, preparing for today's feast for Krishna. Oh, and he leaves some behind for the devotees. What a shame, isn't that wonderful? Okay, so they've been preparing things for Krishna, so they are certainly making a feast here for Krishna, and this will be Nanda Maharaj's festival. Nanda Maharaj, the husband of Yashoda, Krishna is Nanda and Yashoda's son. Yes, we know Vasudeva and Devaki's son also. There you can see some links are there which are helping us to understand. I think there's a part on the links for Janmastami which is showing from Guru Maharaj about Krishna's appearance and how from Devaki, then Vasudeva is taking the baby boy and giving to Mother Jashoda, and then Mother Jashoda, she had twins, a baby boy and a baby girl, and Vasudeva, the son of Vasudeva, when Vasudeva the father put there, then Krishna the Krishna of Devaki merged like automatically into the Krishna Krishna of Mother Jashoda, Vrindavan Krishna. So why we're saying this? Because Nanda Maharaj's festival. So unfortunately, Vasudeva and Devaki are in prison. Oh dear! But fortunately, Nanda Maharaj and Jashoda are not in prison, they're in Gokula. And so in the Krishna books, you'll see, that Vasudeva, after the appearance of Krishna, mentally, he gave cows, thousands of cows in charity, gold in charity, this, that, and the other to the Brahmanas. Mentally, he did all these things because he could not do physically. But Mother Jashoda and Nanda Maharaj, Nanda and Jashoda, they made a big festival the day after Krishna's appearance, and because he appeared in the night, so next day they made a festival. And so this day, the day after Janmastami, is the day of feasting after fasting. And it is actually the only day in the year that we fast through till midnight. And actually, I have to admit, I'm still fasting because it was so late and they were doing their kirtan program, and it was at least 1 o'clock by the time they started to distribute the prasadam. So I thought, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to take Anukalpa. It's like we're so late in the night, and so we'll be having a nice breakfast today. Also, in honor here, don't forget Nanda Maharaj, he's making his festival, but it's also a festival day that Srila Prabhupada appeared. So it is a festival. And for all of us, actually, almost all in India and all around the world, we owe everything to our whole connection to Krishna consciousness from Srila Prabhupada. So please have a special day tomorrow for you. Here is today. But have a special day ever in remembrance of Srila Prabhupada. But just as we have like our most special days are the Vyasa Puja days. The Vyasa Puja, of course, we are our line, it's Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, our immediate line, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur to Guru Maharaj to Srila Gurudev. This is our straight line. But that the trio of Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev is very solid, factual, real. It is not for trying to get some votes or something. It is the reality of Krishna consciousness in the West. Srila Saraswati Thakur wanted Guru Maharaj to go to the West, and but Guru Maharaj prepared Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada took this to the West and brought the West to Guru Maharaj. Srila Prabhupada wanted Guru Maharaj to be the president of ISKCON, so the world will hear from him. All of these things are fact. And as we know from history books, that the history can be recorded according to the victorious party or whatever it may be. So it's not like victory party in that sense, but in our sister concern, then even until today, we heard very recently some things that one of the leading persons in ISKCON said, really, actually offensive, but offensive out of, you can say, either what they've been taught, so they've listened to what somebody said to him, but denying Srila Sridhar Maharaj. This is very unfortunate. So we want to stay with the fortunate souls, and we are happy to declare Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Govinda Maharaj, our actual firm foundation of the present day, firm foundation, firm, full-fledged line of Srila Saraswati Thakur, Rupa Goswami of our present time. So Srila Prabhupada's relation, affectionate and respectful Vaishnava relationship with Guru Maharaj, with Gurudev, those three in whichever order you want to say, but all those three are 150% on the head of all of the Vaishnavas of the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Vaishnavas. Those who are coming, the line of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So, wonderful day, and Srila Prabhupada's diary, Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrita is there, and there's a shorter version of Lilamrita called Only He Could Lead Them. Is that right? There's a small book of Srila Prabhupada's history. It's condensed from the Lilamrita, which is quite a sizable book, a big book, put together by Satsvarup Maharaj. Anyhow, these are all available online, the PDF reading. And about Srila Prabhupada, just mention briefly here, there is one lady that we know in Russia, one lady who came to the temple to surrender, and actually came to the temple, I want to be a devotee. So it wasn't like she was converted by the devotees or something, but she'd read one book only, and it was the shortened version of the Prabhupada Lilamrita in Russian. But she read that one book, and by reading about the life of Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, it just was the trigger to waken her heart to say, there must be something very valuable here. There is, it was certain in her mind, here is something very valuable, that a person will give their whole life, and in such a way, actually with nothing, but utilizing everything, Krishna giving everything to a person actually who has nothing materially, but giving everything. and Srila Prabhupada giving everything that will come to him back, so that the dynamo of Krishna's energy in Krishna consciousness, and headed by the faith in the holy name of Krishna, spreading this everywhere through the devotees, empowering them, go and open a center here, open a center there, do Ratha Yatra there, do Ratha Yatra there, by his giving guidance, the devotees doing, not thinking, oh, how will we do it, Srila Prabhupada, but getting up and doing everything, knowing that we are the instruments. So this lady came after reading that one book of Srila Prabhupada's life and say, oh, I know this is so valuable. Hare Krishna. Back to basics. Chintamani Devi Dasi, to everyone, what's the best resource to solicit solid evidence to people trapped in the collective apparat of ISKCON and never heard of Srila Sridhar Maharaj? How to approach the sincere with solid evidence of statements Srila Prabhupada said about Srila Sridhar Maharaj? There is a blue-covered magazine called The Guardian of Devotion, which was brought together by Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj way back in 1982 or 1983 or 1984, no, not 1984, 1982 or 1983. And that book is giving us, you can say there in one place, you will get pretty good solid evidence. Now, it's not a book, it's a magazine, but not like a magazine with adverts and stuff like that in. Maybe the thing is that there are different magazines with the same name.
Maharaj?
Yes.
I heard something about this. I don't know, maybe it's possible. We can find some answer to this question that Govinda Nandini. Srila Maharaj mentioned that we have some book, Divine Gandas, with special conversation that have Srila Prabhupada and Srila Sridhar Maharaj. Yes, I tried to look this and I'd share in the chat. Just give me 1 minute, please.
Okay, I have a link here to the magazine I'm referring to. Copy link address. I'm just putting it in the chat box. And this helped many devotees in the early time in ISKCON, and certainly can continue to help devotees until today. It is about the relationship of Srila Prabhupada and here Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Sridhar Maharaj. And the next installment is the relationship between Srila Prabhupada, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and Srila Govinda Maharaj, you can say. So, but this is helpful. And another thing in ISKCON is that ISKCON, please, we don't want to give any criticism of ISKCON. ISKCON are doing so many things that we're not doing in the broad scale of the preaching. But the point about missing Srila Sridhar Maharaj is sad, but does come down to the fact that with much endeavor, many senior devotees previously have tried to give some good introduction to the GBC. And the heads of the GBC, Jayapataka Maharaj, Charuswami, and others, they know very well about Srila Sridhar Maharaj. But for some purpose for their society, they're trying to keep everything within that, as they see fit, within the disciple section of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, of Srila Prabhupada. However, we know it would be all so much more glorious if they could have followed Srila Prabhupada's wish. But again, you see there are different colleges, different universities, and so I came from ISKCON, many of us, we came from ISKCON to Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and we were positively surprised about the reaction of our equals, those of us who, of a similar age and experience in the mission, when we are all given this introduction to Guru Maharaj, all given an opportunity, etc. But I was, it was surprising to see the different reactions. And then what to speak of the reactions of some of our seniors, who we can say they were our good advisors. But we then have to come to this question of society consciousness versus Krishna consciousness. And of course, Guru Maharaj, those who are fortunate, they can recognize what Guru Maharaj really, he's giving the harmony for all societies, for everybody, everywhere. But not everyone can catch it. And rather, there are so many of the leaders who went to another place, which is actually teaching imitationism, Sahajism. And Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, he gave 100 points on Sahajism. How these, like 100 principal points, unlimited number of points to show why imitation, this imitating that you are a gopi, you are a cowherd boy, you are this, and then trying to force your way to the world, and many things. How it is false, wrong, imitation, reactionary, very bad. But sadly, so many of who were like the prominent devotees leading, and some who still are there, then they went that way, thinking, oh, here they're giving us some promise of a quick journey there, but not going safely under protection of, again, protection of Srila Saraswati Thakur's teaching, the protection of Srila Guru Maharaj's teaching. And Srila Saraswati Thakur gave Guru Maharaj the title Bhakti Rakshak, protector of devotion, guardian of devotion. So it's difficult to say how we can generally help the mission, the worldwide Hare Krishna mission, the ISKCON mission, to appreciate Srila Sridhar Maharaj without it appearing politically motivated or something else, which is very much what the devotees are not, what Guru Maharaj is not doing. There's no political strategy there at all. And another thing is that some of our devotees, after getting connection with Guru Maharaj, they are preaching in ISKCON. But Guru Maharaj also, Guru Maharaj and Gurudev both use the expression that we are not fishing in other people's ponds. We're not out to disturb anything which is there. So it is all very fine line. And we can say that we, like advertising, we need to let the public and the devotees know like who we are, what we represent. Like advertising, this is our kind of vehicle. This is what Toyota and Mitsubishi, everything else. And then amongst there are so many different categories. You want a sports car, you want an all-terrain vehicle, you want a pickup truck, whatever it is. They're advertising what they have here. If you want it, buy it, we have it. So we need to be like this in our propagation, that this is who we are, what we have. And if you recognize this and you want this, here it is. If you want imitation, well, you can find that other places. But ISKCON is not giving imitation. It's giving a good foundation for people. But progressive thinking, progressive thought, spiritual life is progressive, and it is hearty. This is another thing. When we meet Gurudev and Guru Maharaj and our family and the family of the next generations, and soon it'll be the next generation. I mean, time flies by. And one thing, when we meet our family, we kind of, without understanding quite why, we know they're disciples of Guru Maharaj, Gurudev and the successors. We know that our family, because there's something familiar, something like affectionate and hearty about our family. And not so rigid and hard-hearted. Like the emphasis on some of the things can make, and we've seen devotees become quite hard-hearted in trying to follow strictly this. I'm thinking about 16 rounds a day here, where we do know devotees who chant 16 rounds a day, but we have to do it in the right mentality. We need to do everything, service in the right mentality. Being a servitor in the right mentality, and giving service in the mood of service, in the family mentality. All these things are all related. And when the head of the family is wonderful, then we can think, oh, okay, wonderful family. And we have a very wonderful head of the family. I mean, Srila Prabhupada also wonderful head of the family. But don't forget that in a very short time, very new devotees were sent out to present Krishna consciousness. And some devotees who have seen tapes of Srila Prabhupada preaching, and in some of the places like the very affectionate dealings, and who hear about Srila Prabhupada from Srila Prabhupada's close associates, they say, oh, this is not the impression we get of Srila Prabhupada. We get that he's very stern and strict and like army, like that. But he had some army structure for being able to delegate the distribution of Krishna consciousness. But he was not a strong, like an army shouting orders person, rather very affectionate and lenient with the devotees. Hare Krishna. So Chintamani Didi, it is our question. But okay, I can tell you something. We're here with the family and we're saying about, people going, the senior devotees going to the Sahaja imitation section. And here in Thailand, Gurudev Srila Govinda Maharaj was asked, why is it that so many are going to this other place and thinking, oh, they're getting something now further on from Srila Prabhupada, that continuing what Srila Prabhupada would have given if he was still with us, the imitation section. Said, how is it so many go there and so few of those leaders are coming to Sridhar Maharaj? And then Gurudev, very quickly said, Sukriti. So we must also be very careful to guard our Sukriti. Sukriti means we are doing seva for Guru Vaiṣṇava, for Krishna. We are doing seva, giving ourselves. And that is giving some unseen spiritual bank account, if you like. This example is given of like a spiritual bank account. So those with poor Sukriti, they will not recognize where there is the pure divinity, part Sukriti, something, whatever it may be. So we must be very careful and not to criticize anybody, not to make any accusations anywhere. And really, when my generation, myself, when we came to Krishna consciousness, but to Guru Maharaj, when so many abominable things, you can say, were taking place in the other society and became known, it came out in the public, and you can read the history from 1982, these things took place. Then when we came to Guru Maharaj adjusted everybody because people are coming accusing this or that leader. And Guru Maharaj says, we cannot blame the environment. We have to look in ourselves, and every situation we're put in, that is for our benefit. And sometimes our chastisement, because we have our karma from the past, our baggage from the past. So we cannot blame the environment at all. We cannot blame others. We must not blame others. We must always look to ourselves. And when we get some good opportunity to think, to recognize divinity, where is the opportunity? Oh, here, Srila Prabhupada, he's telling about one person as his Siksha Guru, Srila Sridhar Maharaj. Then we must think, oh, so Srila Sridhar Maharaj. then naturally we would think, naturally we must come to hear from him, to have his advice. And if possible, inconceivably possible, in the days when we have not yet come to Navadip, so it was inconceivable we'd have an actual connection with him, an opportunity to serve. But Guru Maharaj, Govinda Maharaj, when asked by why so many go to imitation rather than the actual best thing, the jewel, the hidden jewels, then he said Sukriti. So we must be very careful ourselves to guard our spiritual life, not to have any criticism anywhere, but we can observe, but not with a criticizing mood. And Chintamani Devarasi, we're very happy that you recognize that you're coming to the really beautiful and sweet family of our spiritual masters. And everywhere we have to follow something which was stressed by Gurudev Govinda Maharaj, like so much, actually stressed by everybody, but we can say almost, Gurudev's most preached mantra, most repeated sloka, Trinadapi Sunichena Taroreva Sahishnuna Amanina Manadina Kirtanya Sada Harihi. By this process of humility, tolerance, giving honor and not wanting honor for oneself, we will be able to associate with devotees in the proper way. We'll be able to make our devotional life actually successful. So we must keep this really on our head. And Mahaprabhu said, and I think we should almost add this to our back to basics, to learn one sloka, the sloka where Mahaprabhu is saying about everybody, take the Maha Mantra, take the holy names, and as beads and thread, he says, take this verse, Chinadapi Sunichina, as beads and thread it on the thread to make a necklace, and thread it. And what will the thread be that goes around our neck? It will be the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, the holy names of the Lord. Chant the holy names of the Lord. That's the thread. And what you're wearing on the thread is Trinadapi Sunichina Taroriva Sahishnava. That we'll always, for our constant remembrance, the holy name with this formula of humility, tolerance, giving honor to others. Hare Krishna. And many beautiful things that Guru Maharaj express, how negativity, but genuine negativity, not false this, false that, genuine negativity, realizing we need mercy, we need grace, we are fallen, we are in need of help. This genuine humility attracts the positive. The negative attracts the positive. Not I am so great, I am this, I am that. Hare Krishna. And anyway, I can't believe that over an hour has passed by. In your association, Hare Krishna. And I haven't even asked anybody, do you have a question? Do you have a question? Oh, well, we've got some points came up in the chat. So yes, some question came up. And by the way, my time in ISKCON, I can say for sure, I am grateful to everybody in ISKCON from the day that I walked in to the day that I didn't walk out, the day I moved on to the next classroom. I appreciate everything that happened. However unfortunate things may have been and whatever else, we have to say that from there, we were fished out of the material world. And, okay, we're still in the material world. All right, I understand this, but fished out from fully material conception to some basic human life, civilized life with actual prospect of proper utilization of our energy, our time, our capacity, anything else. And so we're grateful to the society, to the devotees, to all things. How I'm grateful to the devotee who lied. Sorry, there's a vehicle just past me. I'm grateful to the devotee who lied to me. And I knew he was lying, telling me. And this was maybe Saturday. He told me on Monday is the last opportunity to join the Bhakta course. After that, there'll be no more opportunity. It's such a good course. You have to join, but it starts on Monday. Don't miss this opportunity. I kind of knew he wasn't telling me quite the truth according to truth that we know it, but that got me on Monday to join the Bhakta course. And if not for some white lies, or we can say divine lies like that, then we would not have come and thinking we can. I'm also thinking, oh, I can do what I was doing, but I can also worship Krishna. And we know that it's very difficult to do that. And I was due on Wednesday to fly out and lead a safari. Instead, I joined the temple. Just see. Oh dear. Hare Krishna. All right. I'd love actually to have given everybody some chance to actually speak as well as to type in the box, say something. But I'm sure that together and with your friends and families and everything else, that you're sharing Janmastami, and tomorrow for you, the Nandotsav festival. Nandotsav festival, a festival in its right, and Vyasa Puja of Srila Prabhupada, a festival in its right. So it's a double festival day tomorrow for you. And it's every festival is wonderful, but these days are like wonderfulest festivals. And I can just, I really will have to go in a moment because I've got the windows open. We're right here beside and have to participate in the morning program. And what I was going to say, in Vrindavan, surprisingly, Krishna Janmastami, not so big, because every temple has its own program going, every house has its own program. Everybody in Vrindavan is giving the worship to their own deities and giving honor like this. And yes, it is a festival day, but bigger than Janmastami in Vrindavan is Radhastami, which I was surprised about, because in Navadip, the biggest festival, Janmastami is grand and, as we mentioned, can be noisy, and it's very much the villagers are coming. But Radhastami is much more, we're having the festival, some villagers come for the feast, etc. But we have a gentle environment for chanting the glories of Srimati Radharani, the fine things that really only can be understood by following in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gauriya Vaishnavism. So in Vrindavan, Janmastami, actually sweet and gentle, and Radhastami is a bigger festival. And around the world, we can say Janmastami will be the bigger festival in general. But we must not come to remember Krishna and remember all the great avatars and the great souls in the mood of coming to pray to them for something, and except for devotion, devotional connection, mercy in that line, but not coming to do puja, this, that, and the other, to ask for a better car. All these things, which is, I'm sorry to say, but factually speaking, and Srila Saraswati Thakur acknowledged it, Guru Maharaj acknowledged it, Gurudev acknowledged it. You can say whether it's 99.9%, but really it's up in the 99% or the 90% of the pilgrims who come on pilgrimage in India, come to the temples. It is asking for something. Unless they've come to Mahaprabhu's conception, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showing the nectar in the life of surrendered souls who don't ask for anything except a place in service. So still, Janmastami, Krishna's appearance, everybody knows he's the Supreme Lord, origin of everything. wonderful time. Thank you to each of you for being together and for being humble and tolerate me giving a monologue today. I like to be dialogue, or dialogue means two. What's with many? Multi-log. I like to be in a multi-log. Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, please forgive me. But we are here in the hope of service and service to Gurudev, Guru Maharaj, our Sri Chaitanya Saraswat, Acharya Vrinda, all the Vaishnavas, and if we can be so bold, praying that the Lord may be also pleased with whatever attempts each of us do in our service life, association with each other. Let us remember the holy name, our masters, our connection, the guidance of humility, tolerance, giving honor to others, the guidance that we need devotees, we need each other to come forward. I need to go. Jai Srila Jayam Vaiṣṇava Srila Gurudev Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jayam Vaiṣṇava Srila Guru Maharaj Srila Bhakti Rakha Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. And Jayam Vaiṣṇava Srila Prabhupada Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Vaga ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Krishna Janmastami ki Jai. And very soon for you, we've got Shri Nandotsav ki Jai. And Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Vyasa Puja ki Jai. So together let us chant their glories, chant Hare Krishna. And what's the other thing we've got to do? Oh, be happy. Vaishnavas are jolly. This was told by Srila Prabhupada. And whoever met Srila Gurudev Govinda Maharaj can see Vaishnavas are jolly. So we are following in their footsteps, not to imitate. But if we take their medicine, then something must come. Some at least happiness, knowing, oh, I'm going in the right direction. And all of the assembled and unassembled devotees, ki jai, and to each of you, my obeisances. Until next time. Panchakalpa evacha atitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Dandavat, dandavat.
Dandavat Maharaj.
Haribol, Haribol. And if I haven't replied anybody for some emails or messages recently, please excuse, I will try to reply to you. I have a bit of a Ganges river full of duties, which is sometimes difficult to do. Jai Nitai. Dandavat, dandavat. Everyone's been quiet today except me. I've been very noisy. So to all of you, Madhavi Devidasi, revealing your form to us, Devapriya Devidasi, to all of you, Chintamani, Bharachandra Prabhu, Roy, Prema Sundari, Hanandamoy and Sachinandan Prabhu, we're always remembering. Sachinandan Prabhu came home, no, still working hard, taking the opportunity before the winter comes, you see, because they'll be covered in snow. And Praneshwari always in the sun. Obeisances to you all. Dandavat.